Hi everyone, it's Erlene of Erlene Garcia Art, and I have an exciting project for you to try. It is a travel fortune telling kit. There's a limited number that I have in my Etsy shop, but I thought I should tell you guys exactly what's in it so you can make one for yourself too. So it does arrive in a sealed package like this. And before I sealed it, I wanted to show you guys exactly everything that goes in there. First of all, so you don't lose any of your precious fortune-telling items, I tied an elastic, burned the edges so it doesn't ravel, and put a bulb safety pin with 2 charms, a sun, and a moon. Now let's open it and see what's in there. We'll get to that little chart in 1 second. This one is a fortune-telling oracle spinner. Next, I took a little organza bag. I added a card charm, a 4-leaf clover charm for good luck, and a mini Rider-Waite tarot deck. And there's also a chart in there that tells you the meaning of all of the cards. The cards are housed in a cigar-style band to keep them nice and neat. Let's see what else is in here. Oh yeah, so this is super cool. I designed a pendulum with selenite and crystal quartz, and this little chart, you can find out your answers by spinning it around. These are some handmade runes, and those come in 2 different sizes. I also made a wood disc with an easy yes or no answer if you need that quick answer. And this is the Mystic Teacup fortune chart with 2 tea bags. The next thing that we have is a little 1-inch scrying mirror with a vintage image on the front. Also, Astragalomancy with a copy of a vintage chart. You can throw your dice and find out your fortune. And last but not least, a palmistry hand chart. Some of the images, like the cards, I purchased and downloaded. The other ones were from my personal collection. And I wanted just to share these ideas with you because I thought it was such a fun little kit to have when you're traveling or to give someone as a gift. And I did a lot of research to make sure that I could bring you such a cool idea for personal fortune telling or to share with your friends and family. When putting together a kit like this, I do lots of research to make sure that every item that I choose has a story and comes together in a fun way that you could use to your advantage. Hopefully this will give you a plethora of ideas and opens the door to all types of creative endeavors. So think out of the box and put your own spin on it. So let's get started by making the scrying mirror. I took a 1-by-1-inch mirror that I found at one of the dollar stores. I had some copper tape from a leftover soldering project, but of course you can use washi tape if that's what you have on hand. A bone folder. You could use a round mirror too if you like. And I just used this inexpensive glue. Find an image and glue it to the back of the mirror. Take your foil tape or your washi tape, or you could even use masking tape if that's what you have. And neatly and evenly go clear around the mirror. And the reason I have the bone folder is because this type of tape is kind of bumpy and it smooths it out perfectly. The scrying mirror has also been called a visioning tool or mirror magic. Scrying with a mirror is a method that has been used for centuries. While you're gazing into a mirror, meditate when searching for answers, symbols, and signs. And apparently you will see an answer through the reflection. I think it would be so exciting to see something cool like that in the mirror. I know some people are a little bit scared, but you know what? That's what happens when you play with magic. Okay, so let's continue here. The tape is very easy to rip. So, and it does stick. Usually when I'm soldering with this, it turns into a metal image whenever you use flux. But because I am not soldering it, it's going to just stay intact the way it is because I'm using the bone folder on it. If anyone out there has tried the mirror scrying, please leave me a comment. I want to know what you thought about it. So if you're making just even one piece as a gift, put some information in there. Make sure your name is attached to it. The information that I give with the things that I design, it's all the research I've done in my own writing. And then everything is sealed nicely in a clean cellophane bag because you don't want all of your items in the little box to get all mixed up together when they first receive it as a gift. So let's start with making a pendulum. I loved designing this for you guys. Now, this is one of the easiest projects for anyone, even a beginner, to design. And you can just make a ton of these and sell these just straight out of the gate there. So basically, let's see what you need. You need some pliers, cutters, needle nose pliers, chain, 3 eye pins, 1 jump ring. I had this really cool hand charm that you need a good size bead to hold on to when you're spinning your pendulum. A spacer bead. I think I got this one at Michael's if I'm not mistaken. There's a star and a moon on it. I'm using this little spike lightweight bead, and I just thought that would be perfect for the tip of the pendulum. And then I have a 10 millimeter selenite and a large chunky clear crystal quartz needle nose pliers. And these are some of my beads that I like to pick and choose from. So this particular little spike, or whatever you choose to go at the bottom of your pendulum, this one is about 2 inches, and it looks like I'm using about 2 1/4 worth of chain. Now you can make it all chain or all beads. The discretion is totally up to you. And I have a plethora of hand charms, but the one I chose has an open heart on it. The eye pin is already attached to my chain, but I will show you how to do that in a second. I think it was already attached from another project. So what I did is I put the crystal quartz on the pin and I made a loop the same size as the eye pin, and I am going to connect the spike. Now, if you don't have a spike, you can use a charm or any type of bauble or even a broken earring that you might have. Something that looks really cool and different, and make sure it's balanced. So now I'm going to stick the selenite, oh, I love selenite, on the other, sorry, I don't mean to get out of camera there. So I'm putting it on the other eye pin. I'm going to trim it, and I'm going to just leave about less than 1/4 inch so I can make a nice, perfect circle with my round nose pliers. And the way that I do it is I make a round circle and then just bend it back just a wee bit, kind of making like a neck. So that holds your selenite or your bead or chain in there perfectly. So I'm taking the other eye pin, connecting it. I'm going to close the eye pin, and when you close your eye pin, make sure that it is closed perfectly because you don't want your work to fall apart when someone is trying their pendulum. So let's make another loop here. Just continue in a circle. Don't forget to make a little neck and then close it again firmly. We are going to now attach our 1 jump ring and open it like I've previously showed you in other videos, front to back or back to front, not opening the circle because you don't want to lose the shape of it. So the reason I'm using a jump ring here is because I'm going to connect the little hand, and also I want all of the beads to have free movement, and it gives it a chance to maybe dance whenever you are using your pendulum. I remember seeing pendulums in the 70s when I was a kid, and I was like, what are those? They scare me. But pendulums have been used in divination by spiritualists for generations to tell the future or past events the sex of a baby, or to find lost items. A simple yes or no and maybe answers to a participant's questions. I remember when I first saw this used, they had attached the person's personal ring to the bottom of the pendulum to enhance the reading. Okay, so when you do create your own pendulum, don't forget to put your name on the back, sign the front. I'm using a tiny punch. I think it's a 1 millimeter to punch holes. I'm using scissors to cut in angles so I can hang my pendulum on it. Now you can also use this type of a card for other items that you're making. I do have a video on that, by the way. And I am going to include the names of the specialty stones because that is so important when you're selling your jewelry or art. The customer loves to know what it is. And if you have the information on hand, include it in your packaging. It really helps your sales. The next item is a fortune teller oracle. The image is a copy of vintage ephemera. I glued the image to a natural color cardstock. I used a paper cutter to neatly cut around it. I have these brads that I am going to use for the spinners. I'm using needle nose pliers, the 1 millimeter paper punch scissors, or a paper cutter. I also have the glue stick and a paper punch that I thought would be awesome for this oracle. I punched out the pieces in the same color cardstock to keep that vintage look, and then I punched a hole in the hand to make sure that it lines up with the little circle that we're going to be placing it on to find out what our fortune is. So I put the brad in. Now, once you put the brad through, you don't want to do it real snug. You just want to leave like an eighth. So what I'm going to do is bend one side, and we want it to basically look like a T. And then I am going to bend the other side. Oh, I just had a great idea. If you made your own oracle with faces and then all the answers, yes, no, maybe, she loves you not, he's going to call me, he's not, that would be totally awesome. Oh my gosh, I'm getting ideas, giving you guys ideas. That is so hilarious. I really love the color in this vintage oracle. So let's do one more brad so you can see exactly how it's done again. I just was like racking my brain, how am I going to attach something as a spinner without cutting the card, because on the original image there is an arrow, but I didn't want to cut it. It just seemed like so much work. So the easiest idea that I came up with was to use these brads, and I have a megaton of these. So I just thought, whoa, good idea. So look at that. And then I put it in a cellophane bag. It looks so nice and clean. Don't forget to put your name on the back. So let's start with the next thing. The next thing is runes. And I thought, wow, we really need to put runes inside this little travel fortune kit. So I didn't know exactly what I was going to use for it. I ended up finding these little wood disc at Michael's in the kids area because they didn't have any in the big kids area. I found some metallic markers at the Dollar King, one silver, one gold, a large black marker to go around the very edges of it, and also a Sharpie to enhance the letters after I embossed the wood with a vintage tool that was my aunt's. This process probably took me about 12 to 15 minutes to make each set after I figured out what the heck I was doing, and I was pretty happy with myself. So basically I just carved lightly. The wood is very soft, and then I use the Sharpie because if someone is using this a lot and touching, just in case the ink fades or wears away, you still have the embossed image and can read your runes. I also included a runes chart for reference. So inside the bag was extra wood disc, so I decided to create a yes no coin by using rubber stamps, the same markers, and you can get a quick answer by just tossing it up in the air. Now let's take one more look at everything that is inside the box. To keep it closed, we have an elastic closure that I put together. It has a vintage inspired bulb safety pin with a sun and moon charm. I decorated the top with the all-seeing eye to make it inviting when you open your magical box. There's a chart there for the pendulum. We have the fortune-telling oracle that has a little spinning to get 4 types of fortunes from that. A black organza tarot bag that has 2 lucky charms on the tie strings that houses your Rider-Waite mini cards that I hand cut, and you also have a chart so you know exactly what the cards mean. I used Rider-Waite cards in the very beginning when I first started reading cards, probably about 41 years ago. So I'm really partial to those. We have the handmade pendulum with the selenite and clear crystal quartz. And remember, this is the little magic board that we're going to be using it on. We have the runes and the rune chart. The wood disc that we can use as a quick answer for a yes or no just by tossing it up in the air. The vintage mystic teacup reading with 2 tea bags in the package. We also have the scrying mirror. The Astragalomancy that you can use 1, 2, or 3 dice to find your future. And then the palmistry hand. I love this image. This image is actually hanging in my office because I think it's so beautiful. So those are the 9 mystical divination tools that you can incorporate into your magical travel fortune box. Wow, say that 5 times really quick. Some of my best ideas come from looking through my own art supplies and incorporating them before I go to the art store. So I really hope I inspired you today to create something wonderful. Think outside of the box. And next time I will be having a video on what to carry in your travel voodoo box. Okay, well, thank you for watching. Have a happy day. Bye.